Hi, Thumos guys, welcome back. Fire in the Belly Talks. Coming at you. We're going to be just lighting an incense here and just talking for however long we feel like talking. Got some good stuff. Just got done with the gym. Let's light this sucker up and let's get going. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So here it is, man. By the way, if someone can name that plant, I'll pin your comment. It's a very easy plant to take care of. You only have to water it about once every 2 weeks. So for a man, you might not see the benefit of having a plant in your house, but trust me, it really, really livens up the place. It's a high Thumos plant. So now that we have the incense lit, I also want you to take a good look at this pillar here that I have. And if you want, you can take a look at the sweet little cat. This is King Frederick. Come here. Come here. Come here. Hey, Frederick. Yep, there he is. He's a prince. Here he is. Say hi. That's just a beautiful cat. Probably the best cat I've ever seen in my life. All right, so, but take a look at the pillar, guys. That pillar is a Norse rune that is actually called, I think it's a representation of a god. And the god's name is Algis. And Algis is the protector. He is the rune of protection, god of protection. So very cool. All right, so let's just jump into this straight off the bat. Guys, if you can work out, you got to be working out. Enough of this calisthenic BS. Okay, I know it's good. I can do a handstand too. I can do a muscle up also. But if you have access to weights and you can lift some heavy weights, then do it. All right, you got to do it. And calisthenics is great and all, but you need to get yourself stronger and surpass just what your body weight can get you. All right? And the way you do that, you either join a gym or you get some weights at your house. The best routine is 5x5. Push-pull legs. Non-negotiable. All right? Non-negotiable. 5x5, push-pull legs. And the benefit of this is that you go into the gym and you're now going to go in there with intent to really maximize your force on one exercise. Okay, you have one starting compound movement for me today on the push day. That is my bench press. And for bench press, I've actually have gone up from, I posted 295 in the Facebook group, 295 for 5 reps. In 1 month, I jumped from 295 to 320 for 5 reps. Okay? On squat, I started back when the whole COVID, Mr. Corvid, I like to call it Corvid, Mr. Corvid. When Mr. Corvid showed up, kicked us out of the gym, started to lose the gains. Getting back in there, now it was at, I was at about 300 for squat, 315 for a couple reps, right? And I'm not saying I gained all this muscle and got, but dude, even just from doing it 2 times a week, getting in the hole, getting the legs warmed up, getting in there, man, I'm pushing 370 now for 5 reps. Okay, so a huge jump. And what I often see is a lot of these guys going in there and they're doing these hour-and-a-half long routines where they're doing, it goes like this: bench press, 4 sets of 10, 4 sets of 8, incline press with dumbbells, 4 sets of 8, 4 sets of 10. I've done this before. It's not a bad routine by any means. Then you do some more isolated work. You can do some cable flies, maybe do some one-arm presses, something like this. You do your chest flies, stuff like this. You get on a machine, and so now you're getting away from actually pushing some heavy weight, and you're more doing it for a pump, and that's good and all. But there's something about lifting heavy weight that is amazing. It actually makes you more dense. All right, I'm actually getting more dense. All right. You guys don't ever see me at a different angle other than sitting down. I'm telling you, the gains are coming, and I'm going to keep going up. So I want you guys to get on this routine. By the way, you can either look this up or it's a bonus if you're in the 30-day Monk Mode Box Warrior Challenge. All right, it's one of the bonuses that you get. It's laid out for you. So with that being said, dude, get your ass in the gym and do some 5x5. The benefit too is that you get to master a single move. You get to master the bench press. Now you no longer have these weird shoulder pains because you're getting so good from getting in there twice a week. It's usually about twice a week that you're working out you're going to work out push pull legs, rest, push pull legs. So you're hitting everything almost twice. You're getting in there, you're focused 5 reps, 25 reps of pure focus and intense energy, and you're mastering that movement. Okay? And that's the mental preparedness that you get going to the gym, knowing that you don't have this mountain that looms over you, right? Oh man, I got all these reps and sets to do. No, when I go into the gym, I'm ready. 5x5. Let's get it, man. You know, I wish I had a spotter. Sometimes I just get a spot, but dude, you go in there and you just get ready to do your 5. You warm up really good. Okay, gotta just tell you that. You warm up very good. You know, I'm doing the bar. Then I'm going, and then I'm putting 25s on, 95 pounds, 45s, 135, hitting it, and then I'm going 185, 225. My working set starts about 275. After that, that's my first set. After the second set, 5 reps is going to be about 315. The other day I tried 320, got it 5. After that, I'm dropping back down. I'm dropping down. And this is what you need to do every single week. You need to go in there, and you need to try to overload. You need to keep pushing more weight. You don't get to just go in there and do the same weight. That's what all these guys that are doing those splits, the bro splits, they're doing this. And it's not working. Okay, it's not working. So, and they're not lifting heavier weight. They don't look dense at all. They're just kind of are staying the same. And I know how that is. I did that for years. And it works, you know. It works. But I mean, the 5x5 for a natty and for a guy that doesn't want to stay in the gym all the time is absolutely intense and amazing. And if you're a beginner, it works. If you're advanced, it works. You just want to keep adding weight. And the biggest thing you got to do is track. You want to log your weights. So I recommend that you log your weights in your phone or in a notebook. All right, super important. We talked yesterday about lifting without music, and a lot of the musicians came out and they were like, "This is not for me." Can I get an F in the chat for the musicians? But they were like, man, that's not for me. And I totally understand that perspective, bro. Like, I really do. You got to do what you got to do. And I tried picking up an instrument. It's not for me. I'm not really a huge fan of instruments. But you do what you want to do. I do not lift with music anymore, especially with the 5x5, because I go in there and it's just, I really got to focus on my breathing and getting in tune with the muscle. When I listen to music, I oftentimes am waiting for a breakdown or a beat drop. And then I'm not really in the muscle. Like, if you look at Arnold, when he was lifting, you never saw him with headphones. And I know the technology wasn't really around. Maybe they had the Walkman. But it was him and his men. They were pumping iron. That's all they were doing, all right? They were pumping iron. And I know that you guys have, like, Spotify and you put on a playlist. But look, like, when you go into the gym, the phone is not, like, really supposed to be a thing when you're in the gym. You just put the phone down, you work out. You get in, you get out. All right, so 5x5, dude. I'm going to leave it here. After that, I go to seated overhead press, military press, and I do about 3 sets of 5, and then I'm doing some tricep stuff, okay? Some maybe it's dips, maybe it's some skull crushers with dumbbells. That's really good. Or some kickbacks, okay, like this. But that's that. So next, let's just wrap up the music thing. You guys give it a shot. But again, back to yesterday's video. If you haven't seen it already, music is everywhere, and it's actually creating this. I think it's stirring up a lot of our emotions. The muses in the music, the art of the muses is stirring up our emotions. Okay, and we got to be careful because we want to be stoic men. We need to be level-headed more than ever these days. We got to have certainty in our lives, and we have to be really focused. And our minds can't be here one minute and here the next. It's got to be like a perpetual state on the narrow road, and thinking of ourselves highly, man. Like, you don't want to always question yourself and feel shame and stuff. So I'm telling you, music has a way of giving you a message. And it's just like this. It's like listening to me. I'm giving you a message, just giving you thoughts you might have not had. if you didn't watch me, and that could be dangerous in some circumstances. So be careful what you listen to, because messages in the form of music are just another channel to program you. Okay, so be on guard, man. Stay vigilant. Um, these are I'm just talking about some stuff that I think on a daily basis. I want you guys to take the risk wherever you are in life, and and I want you to not even take the risk, but I want you to start to think about how you can make money on your own and kind of get out of the rat race, man. Because being in that rat race, it sucks, and it's you got to do what you got to do. As a man, we're meant to work, right? We got strong bodies. We can pick stuff up. We can work. We can do anything we want. But a lot of us do not need to work a job that we absolutely hate forever. Okay, you don't have to be stuck in a job you hate forever, but you have to have the mindset that I'm going to do something now. Every day I'm going to start laying the bricks down. I'm going to start building towards something. Even a small drip of water over millions of years can cut through a stone. Okay, and we can do that. We can slowly begin this drip process. It starts with an idea, like Napoleon Hill said, and then it starts to drip. Okay, it starts to drip down. It starts to split the rock, overcome these barriers. The one thing you got to ask yourself, what's the one thing that I can do every single day that's going to make my life easier, or everything else in my life unnecessary? A lot of us are running around, we're like chickens with our head cut off. We don't find this inner peace because we're not really following what the Asians or the ancient wisdom of the Asian culture would call the Dharma. We're not following our Dharma, right? I think that's Buddhist, the Tao, whatever. You get what I'm saying. We're not following our Dharma. We're not following the duty in front of us. So if you're working a job that you hate, what is your Dharma? Your Dharma is to do the best there. And I'm guilty of not following my Dharma all the time while I'm working jobs that I hated. I worked a lot of jobs that I hated. Scrubbing toilets. Talk to you guys about this. I used to work a security shift at night, 5 days a week. I would stay from 11 till 7 a.m. in the morning. Then I would leave. And then it got to a point where I needed to have more income. So I started to clean up churches and apartments, these like old apartments that were dirty. People just moved out of them. They were like, take a shit in the bathtub and you got to clean a bathroom, dude. There's like mold everywhere. The kitchen needs scrubbed. It sucked, but you got to do what you got to do. And so for me, it was easy to get in here and complain, right? It was easy to complain instead of just following my Dharma, following my duty and doing that thing, just doing the best of my ability, doing the work. And I think a lot of us are wasting time complaining and talking shit and not really giving our best. If you are at a place where you're working, man, and you just do your best, you could probably make the best out of it. In sales, this is when I really learned. It's like the people standing around the coffee maker and talking shit and complaining, they're not making more money, man. When you get down to it, you got to do the cold calls, you got to send the emails, you got to send videos, where you go out into the car, you're like, hey, man, this is the car. Good to see you. My name's Elijah. Nice to meet you. Here are some of the benefits and features of this car. When can you come in and check it out? You got to have that warrior spirit where you really want to make things happen. The complaining and the moping gets you nowhere, okay? I would also like to include that even though, people say these days you got to have a positive mindset, it's not always true that your mindset needs to be positive. You don't always, I was there and I wasn't always positive, but I started to realize if I could just do the work, that's the most important thing. Success comes to a lot of negative people if you really think about it. You don't always have to be positive. That's just like something that sells a lot of books and people like to think is you always got to be positive, man. And it does help. It helps if you can be a little bit thankful and have some gratitude, but you don't always have to be positive. So I'm just telling you guys, I urge you, get in there, man, and think to yourself, what kind of business can you maybe start? Let's make sure this incense is burning appropriately. There you go. Because a lot of you guys are capable of so much. And again, back to having a tribe, you don't always want to go about it alone, man. Seriously. Like it is an easy way to find yourself stuck when you have no help in life. And you're missing out on certain skills that other people have acquired that you don't have. That once you meet them, it's like that missing piece of the puzzle that comes together and helps you form something greater than you can just build yourself. Like imagine if you don't have the tools to get something done, then you're not going to get it done. It doesn't matter how much affirmations you say, positive thinking. So I really invite you guys, reach out to your buddies, get with your family and see, You got an idea, man, you want to get into real estate, or you want to start a little business, want to start something online, get it started and then invite other people in and see how they can help you. It's so important. All right. So let's talk about living these days. I know a lot of you guys are overseas. I don't know how living is over there, but I know in the States, I live in Ohio, and the cost of living is not crazy. It's not insane. So a lot of you guys, like, for instance, I went with my sister the other day to look at an apartment. Her first apartment, she's trying to move in. The apartment is like $595, okay? And yeah, it's not that nice of an apartment. But it's not bad. Like, it's not bad at all. When I first started these videos, I was living in a more shit apartment than she was. And it's in the basement, it's in that cellar, but sometimes it's good to go down into the cellar, man. Sometimes it's good to go down into the dark place. That way you have more of this inner fire to rise up out of it. So I went with her, $595, electric plus gas. That's at what, $50, $60, $30 for electric, $30 for gas. It's not, you don't even need the gas right now. It's damn summer. So it has an electric stove. So yeah, she's gonna be moving in there, and I'm telling you, that's a lot of you guys are like in California, and there's like what, $1,500 for a place. New York, $2,000 for a little closet space. Like, dude, you can move. And a lot of you, honestly, if you don't have a lot of friends now, even better. If you don't have a woman, even better. You're in such a great, fantastic place because you're like a nomad, man. You can get up, you can pack up, put your stuff on your back, and get going. You got no one really dictating what you do and holding you back. You guys that live with your parents, my yo-yo just got busted. You guys that live with your parents, man, don't let your parents dictate you for too long. I understand you want to show them respect, you want to love them, but there comes a point where you have to move away from that nest. You got to break up with your parents. Enough is enough. The natural way of things, it seems, when you look at nature, it intended for us to move out much earlier than we are these days. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, I probably wouldn't have moved out if my parents didn't die as early as I did. So right around when I was turning 19, mom had cancer, she passed away, so I had to move. Just that dad died shortly after from a heart attack. And it's easy to say, oh man, I'm so unfortunate, it was me. Dude, people got it way worse, man. Like, people got it way worse. That's life. But it forced me to sort of get out of the world, figure things out. I remember very clearly, like, dude, I was looking for any way. I actually lived with some buddies in Akron, Ohio. They were going to school, and I was just staying with them sort of in this nasty little room. I was paying $350 a month. I was shopping at Walmart, trying to get my food together, and it was not a good situation. That's when after that, I started working the 3 jobs, the security. I started working the cleaning the church, and I actually started bartending on the weekends. A lot of you guys don't know this, but I bartended on weekends, and I had no bartending experience. So I was like, all right, you know what? I think bartending would be a cool gig. Plus, I get to meet some girls. And so I go in there, set up a meeting on Craigslist with the bar manager. I'm talking to him. He's like, man, we really want some people with experience. I'm like, well, listen, I got no experience, never did this before, but I'm willing to learn, okay? I'm willing to learn. He sees I'm fit. He sees I'm ready. I'm dressed nice. I'm going in there. My hair's not unruly. I'm clean. Like, he's all right. You can do this. Come on in. I'll give you a shot. I want you to really try. So I'm like, all right, sounds good. Show up, and that's that, man. That's that. Very good experience. Talk about being thrown into the fire when you have 50 people entering a bar on a Friday, Saturday night, bunch of women, everyone's dancing, playing from the jukebox, and you're behind the bar scrambling to get stuff done. I remember one time I took a C4 packet of pre-workout before work, and it was like my first week there, and I was like shitting my pants, literally, because of all the caffeine, and also just nervous because of all that caffeine. But what a good time that was. What a good experience. But then, some stuff went down. I ended up getting out of that bar. I didn't want to be there for too long. Plus, you were getting home at like 4 in the morning. It was just ruining a lot of stuff in life. But all I'm saying is, look, you can move out. You just got to look. Maybe it's going to take a big move. Some of you guys are ready. Some of you guys have the heart and the fire in the belly, the high Thumos spirit, where you're actually ready for a pilgrimage. And and even though you may run into some hardships, any hardships that you're going to face are perfect. Okay, it's perfect. It's God giving you this like this little this perfect test, and it's there to shape you. Okay, it's there to shape you. And there's a great quote by Napoleon Hill that says, "The path of least resistance makes all rivers and all men and some men makes some rivers and all men crooked." And it's because it does, man. I mean, like, are all rivers and some men crooked because it does make some of us crooked, man. Like, look at the path of least resistance on your campus. When when a river goes, it always curves around the mountain because it doesn't have that momentum to go up. It curves around. It takes the easiest route. And with men, we're the same way. Those little towpaths in the university. You see, like the long route, that's the pavement, the narrow road, and then you see these shortcuts we take. And if we are in life and we're looking for all these handouts and all these like shortcuts, what does that do to our mind? And it's not just like one time; it's time and time again. When that path sort of becomes ingrained in the mother nature, in the grass, we're like, dude, that happens to our minds. It happens to our minds. So it makes some of us crooked, man. That path of least resistance, and I think the fight of these days is to really reclaim that masculinity, that sense of duty, that sense of dharma, and take life as it happens, and really put yourself out there. Put yourself out there, and you'll learn what you need to learn. And that's a very liberating feeling when you can do that, because once you start putting yourself out there more, you know that everything's going to be okay. You know that you can handle it. Once you get a couple wins under your, you kind of grab your nutsack. You're like, yeah, yeah, I can do this. Kind of got this inner confidence. This I can do this. And winning's important, man. Like, winning is not something that we should take lightly. There's a thing called the Matthew effect from the book Matthew in the Bible. It says, "To those who have, they shall get more. And to those that have not, they will not." It's like the winning effect. When you win, you make small wins, you get more wins, you get momentum, right? And that's what you need in this life. You need to see those wins to have that confidence. Yeah, man. So you got to stay the course. You really do. It's good to be a winner. It's good to put yourself out there and realize that everything right now is perfect. Just like it is. Let's take even a second right now. Everything's perfect. We're perfect. You're perfect sitting here. A key thing I got to also point out is there's a lot of there's the black pill guys. Some of you guys are here, right? Some of you guys are not positive thinkers. Okay, that's completely fine. Some of you, you're not strong. You don't have muscles. Big deal. Some of you guys don't have a lot of money. Big deal. Some of you guys are socially awkward. Big fucking deal. Big deal. That's exactly where you need to be. That's a perfect scenario. Absolutely perfect scenario. There's men that have died that are worth millions, billions of dollars. That if they had the choice, God's like, "Hey, man, you wanna like go back and be this guy? You want to be one of those guys?" They'd be like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." They would give everything, their entire treasures, to be where you are now. I'm telling you, that's not no hippie stuff, man. That's the truth. Like, it is perfect. You have a perfect opportunity. It's shaping you. Okay, you got to be moldable. And once you get to surrender to that, this is where the really cool thing happens. Is like you stop depending so much on the outcome, right? You stop depending so much on what people think about you and the outcome, and you just do your dharma. You do your duty. You do what's in front of you without relying too much on the outcome. And what that does is liberate you from an anxiety of always trying to control everything. And a lot of us are doing that. And I think it really stems from our mothers that tend to have this control in our lives from an early age, where they're micromanaging every bit of our lives. They're putting our lunches together. They're doing our clothes. They're yelling at us for this. They're making us feel shame. Like, shame should not come from your mother. That's not how it should be. Shame should come from other men. The Spartans, would shame people in their tribe when they would come back from battle and they were cowards. They'd be looked at as a coward. It would go around town, that man's a coward. Your shame is actually a good thing when other men are shaming you. When you feel like you did something against the tribe, you didn't hold up to the code of honor. All right? But this guilt that a lot of us feel from, like, I'm not being a victim here, but most of you guys are like always trying to please your mothers and your fathers. And now you kind of live with this guilt. I'm not even talking about the parents anymore. A lot of you guys are living with this guilt of, like, I don't know, watching some prawn or jerking off. Like, dude, you got bigger worries than that. You know, the size of your problems is the size of your life. I remember Zan Perion said that. I was like, man, that's a good quote, you know? Size of your problems is the size of your life. And once I heard that, I started to think about my problems and what I actually spent a lot of time thinking about. And I was like, man, I can have some better problems than this, you know? There's some problems that I need to have that are actually a little bit bigger than this. These problems I'm having now are actually me just mentally masturbating. They're not serious problems, you know? People got some way worse problems than me. Tell you that. Tell you that right now. So listen, man. Don't be so outcome dependent, thinking that you need to control everything. And stop feeling all this guilt and shame and realize wherever you are, you have exactly what you need to make it happen. And you may not see the bigger picture. That's okay. I often say this in my videos, like, don't follow your passion. I think that's faulty, foolish advice to follow your passion if you don't because what that does is leave you stuck, right? First, what you have to do is work. And then once you do the best, once you do your dharma and your duty in the work, what happens is now the world begins to expand like this. You begin to see other angles. You get to get a new frame of reference, and then that expands, and you meet new people, and you take on new responsibility, and then the gifts start to show up. You start to see, oh, I'm more of an outgoing person. I'm good at selling. I'm good at speaking to people. Or maybe you're more technical. Maybe you like to build stuff and really get in the nitty gritty. And you know you have that mind that's very practical, and like you're good at coding, and you just like you love to be on a computer. Like, I don't like to be on a computer. You know, it's straight up. I mean, I can sort of finagle things, but I don't like to be on a computer, man. And I mean, some of you guys don't realize your gifts yet, and that's completely okay. You're so young. But remember the drip. Remember the drip that cuts a stone over a ton of time, right? You have this slow, steady drip. You keep doing your one thing. You keep doing your dharma. You show up, and eventually you start to realize what you're good at, your gifts. New opportunities, I began to realize, will actually show themselves. Because if you start to look at it like this, you're not God. You know, you're not God. And let's say there is a creator to all of this. And the way that I would like to explain this is just think about what the universe is. The universe is the limitation that your mind gives it. Right? It's the what our minds give the universe. It's like you can only it's the portion of existence that's limited by our minds. That's what the universe is. So you don't know what is going on. Like, we don't know what atoms are doing, right? We don't know what they're doing when we turn around. What are you guys doing, man? What are you guys doing over there, huh? You know, like, we don't know what's going on. And so by not knowing what's going on, it's a good, and I believe a stoic way to look at life. You could even call it a life hack, because I think it makes life better. When you don't know what's going on, well, maybe something else does. Maybe there's a grand plan here, and you're part of that plan. Once you sort of surrender to that plan, it takes off a lot of the anxiety, and you can relax, man. You can stop going around always scared and hunched up, and, you know, breathe in from your chest. Let go, man. Breathe into your nuts, you know? Breathe in your nuts. And but when I say that, I mean actually breathe into the diaphragm. Elliot Hulse, I remember he said that, breathe in your nuts. A good way to breathe is slightly tense your stomach and just breathe. You actually, if you do it right, there's a slight tense of the lower abdomen, of your abs, and you'll feel the breath actually expand to the back, into your lower back. You can try now. And it actually stretches the lower back. It's actually very good. It braces your spine. But listen, man, we don't know the plan, okay? We don't know the plan. So, with not knowing the plan, surrender, and then be free and realize you got everything you need for the plan. That's what the stoic way is, man. That's what it means to be stoic. A lot of you guys are not being stoic. You black pill guys are not you black guys. You black pill guys are not being stoic. All right, you're not being stoic. And I know you're trying to play God. A lot of us go through an atheist phase. Some of us are still stuck in there. Even the mention of God makes us turn a deaf ear. And we're not being stoic, man. So we need to return to this tradition and this way of viewing life. And having the courage to stop always trying to like, and a lot of us aren't even trying, we're just like constantly talking negativity and complaining, and it's perfect, bro. Perfect. You got the gifts you need. All right, that's all I'm saying. We'll move on. I actually want to tell you guys a little bit about posture, the perfect posture for bracing your spine. This can help you with lifting. But first, back to the living. Think about this, because I don't think a lot of people encourage you to live like this or to even have this thought. How much do you need a month to have an apartment and to live sort of comfortably where you can work on a side hustle or build something without suffering too much from a day job? Now that number is probably about $2,000 to $3,000, okay, depending on where you live. And if it's not, well, then don't just be like, oh man, living's way too expensive where I'm at. Like, no, man, like, dude, think about how much you need, write it out, and then come up with a strategy. Right? You got to save to get there. What do you got to do? You got to take on an extra job. What do you got to do? All right? Don't look to get rich quick. It's not going to happen. It never happens. Okay? Don't look for that, because then you're not really like rich, because the experience wasn't something that actually molded you. You just, these people scratching off tickets and stuff, gambling, playing the lottery, like, you know, you don't want that. You want life to sort of shape you into the person you need to be to handle the responsibilities of that. Being successful. All right, so I'm gonna pause this and show you guys something with posture. It's a game changer, so stick around. All right. What's up, bros? Let's get this. All right, I'm gonna put these at my feet. All right. So your feet, when you're standing throughout the day, can be like this. All right. When we walk, by the way, you don't want to be walking like this. That's very harsh on your feet. Okay. So you kind of want to walk like this, like not turning like that. A lot of you have tight ankles and hamstrings. It's a chain effect. You know, everything's getting twisted. But when you're standing still, you actually want to think your feet are like this. And a lot of us have flat feet. Like I got flat feet, man. Okay? And there's no arch when I'm standing like this, so my knees actually will cave in. But when you're standing, you want to think about rotating your feet, your right one counterclockwise. Think about standing on a plate. I got this piece of hair right here. Think about standing on a plate, all right? And you actually this is called screwing your hips into the ground. You're going to actually turn this foot, this knee out, and then you're going to turn this counterclockwise out that way. You're screwing your hips into the ground. This is going to create a natural arch, okay? Now what's going to happen, you want your butt to be flexed, so this is going to correct your hips. You're going to flex your butt, screw your hips in the ground, all right? Right away, this is going to begin to brace your spine. A lot of you guys with back problems, you'll notice that by doing this, it's instantly going to feel better, okay? Your glutes are one of the largest muscles in your body. They're meant to support your spine, okay? And they're going to help align your pelvic, the bones, okay? So we're going to start with that. We'll start from the base. We're going to screw our hips into the ground. Right foot sort of, the right foot doesn't turn out. It just, you kind of turn the knees out. And what this is going, to do this, you actually, naturally, you're going to start to squeeze your glutes. It's going to create a natural arch in your feet. Okay? Now that our glutes are tight, they're sort of flexed. Right? It feels kind of weird to flex. And now we're going to see this. Once you do that, your chest is most likely going to do this. It's going to come up like this. Now that's overextending. You don't want to overextend your spine. So to do this, now we got to flex here. We're going to flex and bring it back. Okay? So now like this, we're not like a 10 hook. No, now we're just going, we're screwing our hips into the ground like this. And now we're sort of flexing. Now, I want you to do this. Flex your abs as hard as you possibly can. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, that's 100. Remember that feeling. I want you to do about 20% of that flex. All right, 20% of that flex. All right. So we're gonna flex. We're screwing our hips. Butt is tight. Now we're gonna flex. Now we're gonna breathe out all the air. All right. And now do that 20% flex. From here, we're gonna start breathing through our belly with that small flex. Okay. Now our spine has stability. Our abs and our glutes are supporting our spine. Throughout the years, you may not feel it now, guys, but all this sitting down, all the wear and tear, the bad posture, that's going to take your toll, man. That's going to take your toll. Until one day, boom, you got to go to the hospital because you got a bad back. Something slipped. Our spines are not made to take all this weight. Even when we're sitting, you can flex the glutes. So right now, we're going to start breathing with a small, it's going to feel weird at first, but a small, there's going to be like a 20% flex there. Now it's going to make you more calm because you're taking good breaths. If you're like this, when you walk, hunched over like this, and you can tell your arms kind of come forward like this, your head will usually go like this. Now you're starting to breathe from the chest, and that's going to make you very anxious because your body thinks it's constricted. It doesn't have air, so you have like this panic attack. You have this anxiety. Now everything's braced. You're breathing from here. You're not overextending. The arms are right here. Thumbs are kind of facing forward. All right? Head is neutral. Right here. Boom. We're breathing through our stomach. By the way, it's not a bad thing if your stomach goes out some. You know, a lot of people think, oh, that's fat. Man, no. It's like it's kind of good to let your stomach hang out a little bit. Okay? You can flex and kind of breathe through that. Like, let that stomach pop out, man. It's a sign of vitality in life. Okay? It's a sign of health. So now we have that part down. Let's do one more thing. All right? Now from here, we are screwed our hips into the ground. Glutes are tight. We are breathing it out. It's 20% flex. We're starting to breathe through our nose. Our mouth is closed. Now we're going to turn our hands like this. Like the Vitruvian man. Like this. We're going to go like this. We're turning our palms up. Now this is putting our shoulders in a great place. This is how they should be. Right? Just like this. Now we're going to go back to here. Look at, that is your perfect posture, man. That's your perfect posture. If you want to do it quick, lay on the ground on your back. Put your hands in this. Do this Vipassana. And now lay on the back. Flex your glutes. That's going to show you how it is. And then squeeze your abs slightly. Perfect posture. Right? My spine is stable. I feel really strong. You can do this whenever you stand still. All right? Whenever you stand still, it's going to give you better posture. When you're walking, you can sort of have that tension in right here, that 20%. You breathe through your stomach. Your head is neutral, looking forward. It's going to brace your spine. Do this when you lift. It's going to make a world of difference. When you kind of naturally do this, when you get under the squat, like this, you kind of naturally are squeezing your stomach because you have to. You brace your spine. Else, you'd be like this and collapse, right? So you're naturally bracing yourself. You want to use your body how it's intended. A lot of us are getting so accustomed to sitting down all day. Okay. And what that's doing is causing us to have this very bad posture, and it's causing us to have like these weird aches. We're getting worse in the gym, like our gym sessions aren't as strong. And listen, posture is everything, man. Like the way people are seeing you, you got bad posture. It's like, well, that's not good. That's not good. It makes you look weak. Okay. So fix the posture. Try this out. Screw your hips. One more time. Screw your hips. Glutes are flexed. 20%. Breathe into your stomach through your nose, and then turn these out, and then boom, let them fall to the side, just like that. This is how it's going to look. All right? Just like this. I'm not saying my posture is perfect either. I sit a lot too, so I get these tight hips. I got to fix this forward head tilt sometimes, but we got to do what we got to do, man. Let's make it happen, all right? Hope that helped you guys. Moving on, man. Let's move on. I want to know what you guys are most afraid of. Seriously, what's your most fearful thing in your mind? Like, what are you plagued with right now in your mind? Okay, let's talk a little bit about fear. My biggest thing I used to be afraid of was speaking in front of a group. Seriously. That translated also into speaking to a woman. Okay, speaking to strangers. And you know what the easy? I'm just socially awkward. But I've always had this mindset of like, no, I'm not. I'm perfect and I'm wonderfully made, and I can fix this. I have everything that I need to do to fix this. But I didn't actually know how to go into fear all the time. And again, I also didn't have the belief that everything is perfect, everything is how it needs to be. So, one of my biggest fears when I was growing up in high school was reading in front of the class. And I actually made a fool out of myself because I would rather yell at the teacher, I'm not reading. I'm not reading. He would like call me, hey, Elijah, just read one sentence, man. One sentence. And then I would do one sentence. It took everything out of me. I was shaking in my boots, you know? And that's all it was. One sentence I had to do. And, that sort of was a long time that put me stuck in my head thinking about next time I got to read, I would show up to class late or skip the class completely so that I wouldn't have to do it. Okay? I actually wanted to be homeschooled. That was a big reason because I didn't want to have to read. I would do everything that it took to avoid the fear. And see, that is what humans are so strongly wired to do, is to seek pleasure, but more so to avoid pain. We hate pain. Pain sucks. But we need to start thinking outside of the realm of pleasure and pain. We actually have to go bigger than our nature. We have to get out of this little bubble. You have pain, you have pleasure. We got to start going out of here. Once you operate outside, that's when life really starts to open up. When you're not always seeking pleasure and you're acting regardless of the pain. And even stepping in front of the camera for the first time was one of those things that was painful. Okay? And it wasn't really like, what's fun about it? It wasn't fun. So it's just like I had to go in. And what you can begin to do is to just look at the fear. You see it for what it really is. And once you can dissect it a bit, what is the real danger or the pain of approaching the girl? What is the danger or pain of getting on stage or reading in front of people, even if you stutter, even if you make a fool out of yourself? What is the actual pain? If you could do that, you would now feel a sense of courage to do it again. Oh, if I could do that, it wasn't as bad as I thought. I didn't die. This is called our inner chimp. The inner chimp is the one that's scared. It's like that inner fight or flight or freeze. A lot of times I would freeze because I would I would feel the weight of that responsibility, that stepping up, having to read, having to talk. I would freeze in the face of that because I wouldn't look at it. I wouldn't look at it, and I wouldn't see it for what it really was. I wouldn't see the consequences. I had built in my head that the consequences were I'll be disliked, everyone will hate me, I'll make a fool out of myself, and that's it. And a lot of us, we can't really help this at first until we actually take a sweet, long look at it, baby, because that's prehistoric. Being a tribe, you don't want to be cast out of the tribe. You don't want to be hated by everyone. That's a very real possibility 1,000 years ago, And so that's natural. But we have to, what happens is once you look at it and you sort of relax, the human system kicks in, the one that overcomes, the one that's able to step into that fear and go in anyway, right? It's able to go in anyway. And so that's how you do it. That's the first thing, to look at it, right? The second way is to just ignore it. Once you start to understand the concept, you kind of ignore it. You hear the fear, but you've been meditating. You're more stoic in life. You kind of see this bigger picture. You believe in God. You believe in a creator. That you are not the grand master of this whole thing, orchestrating, pulling the strings. And so now you kind of are able to ignore it. And there's a good quote that a visitor that is ignored usually doesn't stay that often. He doesn't stay for a prolonged stay. If you ignore a guest, they're going to leave. And so fear is the guest. If you begin to ignore it, well then, he's going to take off, baby. He's going to take off. The third part is to, again, back to everything is perfect, to act regardless. Acting, when I say act, I mean going forward and doing what it is that you're afraid to do, has tremendous amounts of power. The Muse shows up. Stephen Pressfield, in his book, The War of Art, not The Art of War by Sun Tzu, The War of Art, he says that the hardest thing for a writer to do every day, when you're trying to write, is to just sit down. It's not to actually do the writing, it's to sit. You can have all the creative ideas you want, but if you don't sit down, sit your ass down, then the muse never shows up. A lot of us are seeking the muse. Music, motivation. Oh muse, where art thou? You know, we're seeking the muse. The muse shows up when you show up. He shows up on time, baby, when you show up. Sometimes you're not always there, I'll tell you that. You know, sometimes you're not always there. But if you show up, then the muse knows, okay, I can show up. The muse is what gets you in flow, man. You have that resistance to do something. Show up, and then you're more likely to get into flow. And that's very cool because that's what flow takes. It takes challenge. Okay? It takes you to be slightly, you know, you're competent. Like I said, you guys are competent, right? You can do most of the things that you want to do. You might not be able to make $1 million today, but you can do some stuff, man. You can start with that one thing. You can get on camera. You can, get on the website. You can fill out the job application. You can make the call. Hey, I hadn't heard from you guys in a few days. Can you tell me a little bit more about this position? This warrior spirit. Many of you guys are competent. You have the skill, but you have to go and reach and show up, man, because then you'll get into flow. So now you have this challenge that you're faced with the skills that you can actually complete the challenge, and that's going to put you into flow. And when you have that, man, like flow experience in your life, it actually makes your life more meaningful. Okay? Makes it more meaningful. Showing up, there's an ancient Chinese philosophy called the Wei Wu. The Wei Wu. And the duh. And what it is like when you act, just living in the present, in the now, doing, the duh shows up. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the duh. It's this power that manifests itself in your actions and in your life by just showing up. The opportunities, the charisma shows up in you because you show up. But a lot of us, we haven't submitted to showing up. We kind of are stuck in here. The theory, the muse or the duh does not show up in here. It shows up only in your action. It shows up in your willingness to try. Okay? And that's the biggest thing I've learned, man. Like really, no matter where you are in life, if you just try, even a little bit, the forces that be, they start to show up, man. They really do. They start to change things. They start to sort of light the path ahead of you. And then once you do that, you'll know what else you need to do. But then you also have the stamina to keep doing the next thing. And that's where the habits come in. That's where the lifestyle comes in. It's the habits aren't going to do it for you. And I think a lot of us get stuck there, right? We're trying to always build good habits. And dude, the habits are meant to keep you the stamina, to keep the momentum, to keep you strong. To keep you strong. The nutrition, to keep you strong. That's why it's good to be able to invest in higher quality food, because the nutrients actually keeps you strong. To do the dharma, to do the duty, to show up, even in the face of fear. And it's a very powerful force that comes into play. And then you're rewarded. Luck often favors the people that are prepared and that are already doing stuff, right? Luck very rarely favors people unless it's like blind luck. There's luck that's just luck. Like you hit the lottery ticket or something, or the algorithm boosts your video. I don't know, some luck. You get good luck. But luck often stems from being in the right place because you put yourself there, meeting more people, opening up more opportunity, increasing your odds of getting lucky, right? increasing your odds of getting lucky. So I'm telling you, the lowest of the low, you can do something. All right? The lowest of the low, wherever you are, you're perfect, man. You can do it. If you're up there, you're stuck at a plateau, dude, you got to keep going. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What is it? What am I putting off? Okay? Get serious. These times of introspection and thought, have conversations with yourself. One thing that I've really been trying to do these days is not check my phone at all until after 12 a.m. Okay? After 12 a.m. I'm sorry, 12 p.m. Right? And dude, it's been incredible. Because what happens is a lot of our thoughts are going to take place when there's no other thoughts that are coming in. The human mind is extraordinary, and when you're left in silence, when you're left without other input coming in, your mind will start to take everything that it knows, and the subconscious begins to arise and show you things that you wouldn't normally see because it never has the chance. It's almost like the subconscious is hanging out there. He's camping, bro. He's slacking. You know, he's like slow. And then we always have a screen. You know, dude, I'm trying very rarely to turn this thing on. You know, especially in the mornings. Mornings are so powerful. So we have this screen in front of us at all times that's blocking the subconscious from coming in and giving us these extraordinary creative thoughts. Mainly, and what do we see on the screens? We see a lot of uncertainty, a lot of anxiety, and it's shaping us. It's channeling us. You know, I heard a cool thing. The television, it tells your vision lies. I think that was Ralph Smart. And why are they called channels? Because whatever channel that you pick, you pick this channel, that channel programs you. It's called a program, right? It programs you. Certain channels and their programs program you. That's not some BS. That's the real deal, man. It programs you. So you got to step out of the programming and then try to program yourself with the right stuff. Get around smart men. Read smart men and women of the history of the past. People that have done the things. And then you have to have that spirit to go. Okay? It's a big thing we talk about on this channel. But realize that, and you will find strength. Okay, that you're actually capable how you are, and that your mind will give you a lot of insight. And I remember Nietzsche had a quote when he was writing, I believe. There was something, and you guys could quote me or quote it in the bottom, in the comments. He said that when he would get away from any other influences, and he would lock himself in, and then he would have true insight. Because many of us are, even myself included, it's very hard to be real. You know what I mean, man? It's like hard to be real. We copy what we hear. But do we really understand? And that's what I'm trying to do. Even when I get on here, it's partially so I can understand things that I learn. And it's really easy to just regurgitate but we don't know. We're always trying to like think back into the past. What is that I read? What did I read? What was that video I watched? I know I got my notes somewhere. You know, it's like we got to really know. And we do that by being in silence, by having conversations with ourselves, by writing in a journal, having conversation with other people. A big thing, a huge life hack, another Nietzsche quote is, all great thoughts are conceived while walking. Another great quote by someone is, any problem that you have can be solved after a long walk. Henry David Thoreau used to go on a walk around Walden Pond in the woods. Again, alone. Didn't have a cell phone taking pictures of Walden Pond, putting them on his Instagram. You know, I know times have changed, but we can still adapt and take some of this from that lifestyle. And so there's that time spent walking. I recommend one of the things in the challenges that we're doing for the Warrior Challenge this month, the 30-day challenge, every morning when you get up is 15 minutes of walking out in the sun. As soon as you get up, you have your water, you take your shit, whatever, have your orange juice, and then you walk for 15 minutes, at least. And walking, now swinging the arms, okay? We are, we're meant to move, man. This will cure a lot of the ailments by getting outside. One of the things that I noticed when I moved to this city, I've never lived in a city like this. The city that I was in was very quiet. There was no eyes really on me. Prior to this, I could walk. I could kind of go through the backside, didn't have to be seen. And now when I moved here, one of the biggest struggles, man, has been to get outside and walk because I feel like an outsider. But I should not feel like an outsider when I go outside. I was not created like that. I should not feel like an outsider. And so it's really cool when I started going outside because now I begin to not only map out my territory and the domain, the kingdom, I begin to map it out. I get to see people. I see them frequently now. I see the people in the community, and I have this sense of belonging. I'm no longer an outsider. We should not feel like an outsider when we go outside. Okay? And a lot of us have this tendency to lock ourselves in, and we really need to get out there, man. Praise the sun, Praise the sun. That sun has an amazing effect. Right? And you rise with the sun, and you go out, you embrace it. It gets on your skin. I know this camera doesn't. I'm trying to get a little bit tan, man. Like, dude, we gotta get out in the sun. We're men. We're meant to be out there, and it's going to seriously baptize us. Them sweet baby rays. All right. So let's do that. Had a good talk. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you made it this far, the true fans, whatever you guys want to hear about, I'm here for you. We will talk about what you want to hear about. But another thing I'll leave you with is that it's super powerful when you give a request to your subconscious before going to sleep. Okay? And Thomas Edison would do this. He said, never go to bed without first making a request to your subconscious. Because when you wake up, you'll have this. He would usually do this with his inventions. And you would wake up and have the answer in the morning. Aha, that eureka moment to now complete the invention. A lot of us can use that. That's why I take this thing called PTT, Plan Tomorrow Today. I actually have this board that was really cool. Okay? It's a dry erase board. And I'll just plan tomorrow today. Okay? What's the one thing you got to do? What's the one thing you can show up to and just, boom, get out. Knock it out. To-do lists are a thing of the past. We have to have success lists. And that's by only doing a couple things that are actually going to change and complete things that need to get done. Okay? Plan tomorrow today. Know ahead of time what's going to happen tomorrow. Now, you can't always do that because, again, life is uncertain, but you can wake up with intent instead of going on the phone. Intent is everything. Intent gives you conviction. Intent gives you intensity. And so plan tomorrow today. Know what's ahead of you, what battle is waiting for you tomorrow. And then get your sleep, walk, your mind's starting to work, you're starting to get the muse, it's showing up, you're more motivated, you're having gratitude, it's sunny out, we're feeling good. God is good, man. We're blessed. You got everything you need to do it, all right? And you just got to start now. Wait no longer. Have peace. Everything is perfect, all right? It's perfect. It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. This day, perfect. Rejoice. Be glad in it. Okay? Thanks for showing up, guys. I love you. The incense is now just about there. I think it's good. I love you guys. Hi, Thumos. By the way, we got our shirts coming out. We got a final design. I love it. I think it's going to be an amazing shirt. A lot of us have one shirt that we always wear to PRs. I don't know about you. I have my Spartan shirt that I always wear to the gym when I'm going to set a PR. Because it's my garb, it's like my warrior garb. That outfit, I feel good. I feel strong in it. So I'm going in there. It's like going to war, And so this is going to be my new shirt. Hopefully we'll get those out soon and keep the high Thumos spirit alive. Love you, brothers. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Peace.